Another week, another Armenian business lady. And today we're going to be talking about business and brand strategies with Janine Maral. Yay!
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
When love comes in, ooh, la, la, la.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Alice, and you're watching on LeLifestyle. And this week we have Janine Maral with us today, a brand strategist. Hi, Janine.
Hi, Alice. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. I'm so excited for you to share your wisdom and give us all the juicy goodness.
I hope I have some for everyone, but
100%. Guys, if you're new to my channel, we talk about book reviews, money, mindset, and so much more. So if it's something you like to hear about, click the like button below and subscribe because we post videos every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, Janine, please tell us more about you. Let's get to know you a little. What's your background? What do you do?
Yeah. So I'm a brand strategist, and I primarily freelance right now, and I'm trying to sort of like grow that freelance business because it's just a lifestyle that I feel like aligns with me the most. Sort of my start in my career, I studied journalism at Ryerson in Toronto, and then from there, I had a lot of different jobs in various industries, just trying like to test out the field and see what I like, see what I don't like. So, I've been in the music industry and PR, travel industry, hospitality and tourism. Just like testing out a lot of different things. And what I found really stuck with me the most was sort of building a path that wasn't a traditional 9 to 5, because I thought like that 9 to 5 wasn't really the best system for me to thrive in my career. So that's sort of what I'm building on right now.
So cool. I didn't know you went through all of that. So you said it was a bit different in each. So what did you do exactly in music?
Yeah, so I was working at a music agency, like an artist talent management agency here in Toronto. And yeah, we like managed some of the biggest names, Canadian names. And part of my role there, I was an intern during my, I think, the beginning of fourth year of school. So I was like helping out the agents and like, planning events, attending events in the city. And it was a really, really cool experience. And I got to meet really cool people and just got to see like that side of the industry with like ticket sales and like rosters and all of these different parts, and like contracts. But of course, like it was very admin, and it was very like structured day-to-day structure that I I really enjoyed, but it didn't feel like that was me, if that makes sense. So yeah.
100%. That's so cool. As a freelancer right now, what is like the hardest part?
Honestly, I think it's just trying not to feel alone and discouraged when things don't go to plan, or just trying to wake up every day and move, like take another baby step that doesn't feel like you're doing anything, but in order to get to a sustainable business path, and in order to be able to sustain myself in my freelance career, waking up every day and showing up is very important to me, even though it sometimes can feel lonely doing it on your own as a freelancer.
Yeah. So for those who don't know the difference, a freelancer is someone who works for themselves. It's almost like calling yourself self-employed. But if you want to explain, what's the difference between being a freelancer and running a business like that versus owning a business and having a team?
Yeah, oh my gosh, so much. So as a freelancer, it's just you. It's you, and then you wear so many different hats in your own business. Um, so you're your own marketing manager, you're your own virtual assistant, your sales development, and your client customer management, client communications, like you're doing the actual work as well and managing your brand. So I think there's a lot of different hats you have to learn how to wear and practice, along with doing the actual work that you are, you're meant to be doing, with the scope of work you're doing, versus with a business, you have a team of people that can help you with that. So I think they're both very similar, but in my eyes, a freelancer is solo, like a solopreneur, and you're just doing the thing. You're, yeah, that's how I see it.
Exactly. So you still consider yourself as an entrepreneur, because it's so much different from being an employee and just having that security, let's say, for lack of a better word, from an employer. How do you get to manage all of that? Because I know for like a business who has a team, because there's also businesses who are incorporated, let's say, but they're technically solopreneurs, right?
Yeah.
But the businesses who have teams get to delegate. They took one hat and like, okay, I'm the CEO and that's it. But in this situation, you're doing everything. How do you manage it all?
Yeah, it's a struggle, like along with the normal day-to-day client work, managing and maintaining my own brand, and then also thinking ahead to the future, being like, okay, well, do I have enough clients to sustain me in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, till the end of the year? And I think one of my main ways that I like to go about this is just structuring my day and like time blocking and just sticking to that. And so what I do is, like, in my calendar, I'll just say like, okay, from this time to this time, I'm doing this. From this time to this time, I'm doing this, while still being mindful that I need to keep time for myself and to like take a breath and, have like an actual lunchtime as well. At the same time, not every day looks that hectic. Some days I might just feel like doing client work and that's it. Or some days I might just think of focusing on my own personal brand, or like I might have a content creation day where I can plan out all of my social content for the next month. So again, like I try not to do so many little things every day, because then I think like my brain's just scattered. But if I do have to, I like to structure my day. And yeah, I think a lot of the stuff I've learned along the way has just been like years and years of experience, but also being mindful of like taking courses and going to, when we used to be able to go to events, but like going to events and conferences and panels and just hearing what the experts have to say and learning from them, and then applying it to my own freelance business.
Yes, I love that so much. I want to get into that, but before we do this, like kind of, I jumped the gun here. Let me just go back and share us more about your current business, your brand. Who are you working with the brands? Like,
Yeah.
current role.
Yeah, so right now I'm a brand strategist and storyteller. So basically, I help brands define their why, define how they're going to reach their audiences, and then bring their brand visually to life. So that could be through the scope of design, product or brand photography, etc., etc. But I also want to be there as a support to entrepreneurs when they have like stuff that they need to get done, but there isn't like that go-to person that they could just be like, can you please do this for me, like a quick turnaround, like I need this deck done for a talk or a presentation. So that's sort of like where I'll also come in hand for like my longer term clients. But that's sort of the scope of work I do. I really enjoy working with brands that sort of know what they want to do and what their goal is with the brand, but don't know how to define that. So I think that's such a crucial step to be able to move forward and like build your website, build the design, the aesthetic, and then eventually being able to have like that clear communication to reach your audience and then grow your business. So yeah.
So what does like an everyday routine or your everyday look like? Because I'm sure it's different every single day.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But usually, like, if we're breaking it down by time blocks, like I'm up by 7, I have my smart lights turned on at 7 because it's still dark out and I'm like, I need the lights to wake up. I'll wake up at 7, grab my coffee and just like sit at my desk by 7:30. And that's really where I'll start like looking through my emails, seeing like, okay, what's on my to-do for today, um, seeing like what client projects are coming up that I need to prepare for, or which clients I'm pitching to, which clients I'm like closing. Um, so a lot of like the client heavy work happens in the morning because I like to just get that done and out of the way. And then in the afternoon, I'll spend some time for my own self development. So either that's currently like I'm taking a course on web development, and so that's sort of like what I like to do, or like planning my own social strategy for marketing and, you know, continuing to grow my own business. And then usually by 5:30, I have like a group FaceTime where I'll work out with my friends. And then yeah, usually like in the later in the evenings, I'll also continue that client work and then planning out my day next day, just so I'm on track with everything. And then, yeah, taking it easy, watch some Netflix.
That's so cool that you say that you do the self-development, personal growth parts in the afternoon, because so many gurus, let's say, would rather tell you that as soon as you wake up, that's what you get into.
Yeah.
Why,
Yeah.
why did you decide to do that later on? Because you think the client work just takes longer. You want to be sure that you're done with that?
Yeah, for sure. Like I feel like in the mornings, definitely that's when we're most like fresh and, you know, we have the willpower to do a lot of different things, but that's why like I feel like I need to use that time to dedicate to my clients first, and then in the afternoons when I like need to pay attention to a class or just like an hour long video, I can just do that for a long chunk of time. So all of like the little mini client tasks can just be done in the morning.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Okay, smart,
Yeah.
smart.
It works for me, so I don't know, it might not work for everyone.
Yeah, like for me, let's say, if it comes to watching a webinar, of course, I would never schedule it during the week because I know I'm never gonna watch it. Like it's all
Right.
webinars, if they're like an hour long, 2 or like a full day thing, I'll always do it on the weekends. And then during the week, it's either before bed reading or after I wake up journaling and stuff like that, or else
Mhm.
I my brain's too scattered. I can't focus.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
If you were to list out all the things you do for customers, what would you get? How long this list is?
I do a lot, and I know that like personally I feel like I need to be niching down more, which I'm trying to get to. But right now what I do for my clients is there's a lot. Like I'm helping a brand develop their and launch their YouTube channel, their YouTube strategy. Yeah, I'm helping create decks for workshops, HR related workshops. I'm helping with social strategy, and now I have another client that's signing on, that's I'm going to be helping them like literally define the direction of their brand and then creating their logo, their color palette, their website. We're going to do like a branded photo shoot and plan out their whole
Do you,
social
sorry to
strategy.
cut you off, but do
Yeah.
you do the graphic design for them, or you find someone and you tell them this is the brand kit and follow this?
No, I do it too. Yeah.
Oh, wow. You're the photographer, you're the graphic
Yeah.
designer. Wow, amazing. Can we hire you?
Yeah.
No, I'm
So
joking.
I like to think of it as like a one-stop shop. Like I'm a one-stop shop for small businesses that want to work closely with one person instead of being like, okay, this person's doing this thing, this person's doing this thing, which is great as well. But when those people can't communicate with each other, there can be like, you know, miscommunications and just lots of misunderstanding there too. So it's really, I want to make it easy for the entrepreneur to be able to trust me and like know that I'm here for whatever help they need with their building their brand.
So let's go back towards like the courses, the personal growth, because it's almost as if you're continuously investing in yourself for and continuously going after education. Actually, we were talking about that with another person, and we were saying that, don't stop learning.
Mm-hmm.
So can you explain a little bit the importance of these courses that you continuously take?
Yeah, I think when I graduated university, I really, really loved my university experience because every day I was like challenged and learning something new. But then when I graduated and I was working full time, 9 to 5, I felt a bit stuck because every day was the same and I didn't feel like I was getting that same challenge and I wasn't growing and learning new things at the rate that I normally was, which is, of course, like you're not going to be learning at the same rate as you do in university, but like with working full time, I just didn't feel, I felt like that stopped. Like I was just like plateauing almost. So something I like to do is obviously, besides like workshops and conferences, is investing in courses that'll help with a new skill that you want to learn. And that could relate to your career, that could relate to a hobby that you want to learn. But for me, I've realized like if I want to be um, a master in all of these different parts of my career, then I have to invest the time and invest the money into taking the courses and really like learning and doing the grunt work to be able to have give my clients the best experience and best product at the end of the day.
Yes. So maybe even, okay, because I 100% agree with everything, and I just preach that, and I want other people to like say, yes, Alice, that's exactly what people should do, and that's what I do too, because I'm definitely not alone, and more people need to understand that they should continue their education on their own time. But there are a lot of courses out there by people who want to just make profit off of you, right? So how do you choose what courses or which people you want to work with?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the brand itself and reading and talking to other people who've taken the course. I think that's just seeing like the former students' perspectives. So I knew with this brand and with the students that I've gotten in touch with this brand called Super High, that I was able to, I felt confident and I was able to trust what they were offering with what I was curious to learn more about and grow my skills in. So I think it's definitely tricky. I think you need to do your research before taking a course. Another great way to get in touch with former students is maybe finding like a Facebook group for that course. Like, is there a Facebook group for that course? Is that like, how are they communicating? There might be a Slack group. Like, how are students staying in touch after the course is done as well? I think that's so important because that's part of the community and how you can continue to grow after the course is done as well.
Yeah, I think on almost every course I've done, every good one has a Facebook community that just like keeps on helping each other out even after they finish the course, which is amazing. So do you read books as well for your personal growth, or is it mainly like the workshops and conferences and courses?
I'm a really bad reader. Like since growing up, it's ironic that I took journalism because I hated reading growing up. But now, obviously, I'm starting to realize how much value there is in reading. So I'm trying to read before I go to bed just to cut down on my screen time. I'm reading Atomic Habits and Becoming by Michelle Obama.
How are you liking Atomic Habits? I haven't read it yet.
Atomic Habits, I'm taking it really, really slowly because there's a lot of information to digest and a lot of stuff that I want to bring into my daily habits and practices and, how I do things. So I've heard amazing things about it. My cousin's raving about it. So I'm slowly making my way through that book. But I also really enjoy listening to audiobooks. And one way I do that, I know there's that app called Audible that everyone talks about, but there's also, I'm not sure if this applies to other public libraries, but there is a public library app for the city of Toronto called Libby. On the app, you can sort of like place a hold for 21 days to listen to or read any audiobook from your phone. So obviously listening to audiobooks has been super helpful because that's something I like to listen to like while I'm doing like sort of like mindless tasks, or while I'm doing something on Photoshop, or cooking, just anything like that. It's really just another way to sort of consume more information. So some of the books I've listened to are Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and right now I'm listening to Find Your Why by Simon Sinek, which has been awesome. Yeah, it's a great way to sort of consume more information.
You're not the first person to tell me, Alice, I don't actually sit down and read books.
Yeah.
But it's normal, because if you're, let's say, I used to do that too. I used to listen to podcasts of Andy Frisella or whoever else while I was on my walk outside. Like, I'm walking. What else am I going to do? Yeah, I could listen to music, but I could also take that time to learn something maybe. But I think what a lot of people have struggled with is whatever they learn from these books or audiobooks or podcasts, whatever, is actually applying it and taking action on them. How do you go about that?
So, like, obviously when I'm reading or when I hear something from the book I'm listening to, I take notes right away. But like just on a physical piece of paper, or I'll talk through the concepts with my friends, which I actually do a lot, which I feel like isn't like normal. But another thing I do is there's this app called Notion where I keep all of my notes, and just like plannings, scheduling, everything lives on that app. And on that app, I have a section where I have the book and then notes under that book. So anything that I want to remember, I'll just jot down there. And if I want to go back and refer to something like the author said, I'll be able to see all the books and then click on whatever book title it is, open up to another page with all of my different notes. So that's something I find really, really helpful. But I'm still definitely practicing how to apply the things I learn into my life.
Yeah, me too. It's not easy for everyone. It takes a lot of willpower to actually start changing habits. But once you do and you realize that it was for the better, you're like, okay, thank God.
Yeah, for sure.
So is there a book either on audio or a physical book that you've read that you would recommend the view to read?
One that really stuck to my mind was Start With Why by Simon Sinek. It was really, really great because it just talks about why your why is so important. And that's just, I don't think I could even do it justice to give you a like brief of what that book goes into. But
is it the one that says you ask yourself why once, and then whatever you write down, you go why again, and then you go deeper?
I don't think he talked about that, but that's a good way to like think about it. But the basically the root of it is looking, instead of approaching our life with what we do, it's approaching it with why we do it first, how we do it, and then what we do. So really thinking about why we do things every day. What's the purpose to wake up?
That's almost like the intentional living from John Maxwell. Yeah, but so many books have a different approach, which is amazing, because even if it's the same concept, I think we've mentioned this in past interviews, even though books talk about the same concept, and it's the tone of voice, it's the way they approach it that maybe you would like, maybe it would resonate better with you. So guys, if you've read Intentional Living or other books on knowing your why in life, like, it doesn't end there. You could always, if you're still working on your purpose, if you're still trying to be more mindful, all these books are great to read and reread.
Yeah, Definitely. And also there's a lot of value in podcasts as well, like you mentioned earlier, like so many great podcasts out there, just besides the ones that are about news or just friends talking. There's a lot of great like deep dives as well.
Yes, for sure. We were talking about mindfulness, well, almost the whole time, but what advice would you give to overachievers like me, let's say, who write up a whole to-do list and say, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to finish this whole to-do list today, even though it should take me the whole week or maybe the month.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not the best at that either. Like I can write down a whole task list for the day and not get that all done because some things might take me longer than it does or whatnot. But I find that what really helps is when I write my task list for the day to write down how long each task is actually going to take. Um, and then looking at that task list and being like, okay, I have 10 minutes until my next meeting. Like I can just check this off right away, and just making sure all of those like small tasks are done right away. And like, because the small tasks that take 10 minutes to do and you procrastinate and you like dread to do them, it will feel like it takes you much longer because you're spending days being like, okay, I really have to like do that task, when it really is just going to take 10 minutes. And then it's just like weight off your shoulders, you know? I don't know if that made sense, but
yeah, it totally does. Another cool tip for people, what I do is I might write a whole list that I know I won't necessarily finish today, but then I go back to that list and write A to I put an A next to the ones that I need to do, like urgent,
mm-hmm.
and then B to the ones that are like rush but not there yet, and then C to something that I should do right after those. So
Yeah,
it kind of helps me like categorize in a way where, okay, these are really important to do right now, and then the rest I could reorganize tomorrow, let's say.
yeah, like prioritize sort of like
Yeah.
what your task. Yeah, that totally
But
makes
the
sense.
other people use 1, 2, 3. For some reason, I do 1, 2, 3, and then A, B, C.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this one too is important. Okay, is it an A?
Yeah. No, that totally works.
So if there's someone within our viewers who's looking to launch a new brand or working on their personal brand, how do you think they should go about like the first step to communicating their brand to their audience?
Mm-hmm. So I think if you already know exactly who your ideal audience is, which is step one for sure, think about where they would be. So as tempting as it is to be on TikTok right now or on Instagram right now, that's not where that may not be where your ideal audience is. So think about where they would be and then how you can target them. So for example, I find it really helpful to be able to find brands and clients through Facebook groups, because I know that's where a lot of my ideal clients are communicating and, you know, supporting each other, helping, or saying like, I need help on this, I need help on that. So you wouldn't really think like, oh, Facebook's dead, why would I be active on Facebook? But there's a lot of active users that may fit your brand on platforms that you don't think will you don't think to be on, because it's not popular right now, if that makes sense.
What is your biggest struggle?
My biggest struggle right now, and actually has been since for my entire adult life, I think, is self-doubt. I think like a lot of no, you know, I mean, not in like a vulnerable way, but it's true. It's like I know what I want to accomplish and how I want to accomplish it, but then when I'm actually starting, I'll do things to sort of like sabotage myself to stop growing and stop getting to the point where I know I'm able to go, but I stop myself from doing that. So I think that's part of like obviously self-sabotage and self-doubt. But
You
yeah,
works on your self-saboteurs before?
What's that?
Self-saboteurs, have you heard that before?
No,
There's 7 of them.
like 7 types?
7 types, yeah. And you could be you could be self-sabotaging yourself on 3 different ones, like at the same time. And for sure you could be self-sabotaging yourself on the other ones too, just not all the time, let's say.
Interesting.
Often. Yeah. There's so many limiting beliefs or like thoughts we have in our head that, you know, keep us from being our best self.
Mm-hmm.
Learning about them and being mindful and like aware of ourselves whenever we have those thoughts.
Yeah. And for me, when I realized that this is what I was struggling with, was after university, where, like many other people, I had that identity crisis, like, I'm done school, like now what, like this is the rest of my life, you know. It's very overwhelming to put it in that perspective. And I was really like stopping and limiting myself from accomplishing a lot, or taking that next step to do what I really would love to and dream to do, because I was just like, no, but I could never do that. I could never be a full-time freelancer. And so when I quit my full-time job 2 years ago to pursue freelance full-time, I had no plan. I had like no clients lined up. So it was really set up for failure. But I feel like maybe part of the reason why I did that was because I knew I was going to fail anyways. And I knew, like, I just wanted to prove to myself that I wasn't able to do it. And then that's when I got another full-time job that was just like not fit for me. And it all kind of like tied in and made me have the self-realization that this is why I was doing all of these different things, and how at the end of the day, it's all in my control based on how I think and how I talk about myself and my work and etc. So I think, like, as bad as 2020 was for a lot of people, being home and having that time to sort of reflect and be like, hey, like, and grow, was really transformative for me. And I think, had that not happened, I don't think I would be here, like, in this mindset, growing at the pace I'm growing with my freelance business now. So silver linings with 2020.
Yes, for me as well. But that's also a long story which we don't have time for today.
Yeah.
Maybe you mentioned it, but how did you decide, or where did you find the guts to leave a 9-to-5 job where our parents say security, security, security?
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to leave the 9-to-5 job without knowing if your freelancing business was going to work?
Well, I had the security, and I think that's, a lot of people don't have that. So I was very fortunate enough to be in a position where I was able to leave a full-time job straight out of university to pursue freelance, because I knew that I had to do freelance. I had to make it work. But then when it didn't work, which of course it wasn't going to work, I didn't have a plan at all. I didn't have clients lined up. I didn't have direction on what I was going to freelance in. When it didn't work and I went back to full time, and I had that realization, like, okay, this is why I tried to make freelance work and it didn't. That's when I started being like, okay, I need to really dedicate time to like having a plan and defining my brand, defining how I can help brands. And then just, it was all about savings and having a plan and actually doing things right this time around. So, yeah.
Yeah. So the realization was you didn't want a boss. Like, you want to be your own boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You just described what almost every single person who decides to go out and work for themselves go through.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy about that, because I don't know if people realize that so many people go through the same. Everyone has a similar story. How they got there might be a little different,
Mm-hmm.
but feelings deep down always like correlate. I was unhappy at a job. I didn't like being an employee. I wanted more free time or freedom to do whatever I wanted on my own terms. Like that feeling is the same for almost every business owner or entrepreneur.
Yeah. And I think last year, with a lot of the layoffs that happened, it makes a lot of people realize, like, as long as you are at a company for, you know, it, even if you have the most secure job, things can change with the blink of an eye, and you could have nothing. And I think part of freelancing also is like having multiple streams of income and always having like security. So if you lose one job, one client, you have backup. With a full-time job, like, it's still pretty uncertain. And I think that's why a lot of people are going freelance, because why would they still want that uncertainty and be unhappy in a 9 to 5? But again, like, if that's what you want to do, by all means, go for it. So
wow, amazing. And just to kind of wrap this up, you've said so much already. And I think if we continue, we're going to have to charge people to watch.
No.
So to wrap this up, what is the best advice you've been given?
I think the best advice I've ever been given, and this is going to sound cliche, but it's cliche for a reason, is just at the end of the day to do what makes you happy, because you're the only one living your life. And if you're living it for others, then you're not making yourself happy. So that's sort of my approach now with a lot of the stuff I do. As long as you're not hurting people, do what makes you happy. Take that risk. Take that course you want to take. Like, don't waste time. Don't think about it. Just take action and do it right now.
Yes, preach, girl.
Yeah.
Okay, before we close this off, was there anything else you wanted to say, Janine?
I'm just really grateful to have met you, to have connected you through Instagram, and that honored that you would even have me on your channel.
Yeah. It's an honor to have you as a guest. And on that note, everyone, thank you so much, Janine, for coming on here and sharing your wisdom. Hope everyone got so many golden nuggets, takeaways. If you did, let me know what it is in the comments below. So Janine, just so everyone knows, where can we reach you if they're a brand, they need your help?
Yeah.
Is it Instagram, or do you have a website?
My Instagram's at Janine Maral Creative, and my website's www.janineMaral.com. So you can just get in touch with me, either one. Yeah.
Yes. Put them below in the description as well. So you better go follow her. I say it all the time. You better go follow. Okay, thank you again, Janine. Guys, if you got value from this video, share it with your friends, because for sure they're gonna find some value here too. And yeah. Bye.
Bye.